All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Because today we are unpacking one of the most chaotic, high-stakes days we've literally ever seen in the 2026 World Cup. Welcome, everyone. We're talking about the simultaneous, nail-biting finale of Group B. Two matches happening at the exact same time that totally rewrote the knockout stages. We've got Switzerland edging out Canada 2-1 and Bosnia overpowering Qatar 3-1.
And honestly, that just perfectly sets the stage for what we're looking at today. Two matches, four teams, just pure unadulterated sports drama. Over the next few minutes, you're going to see exactly how a lightning-fast strike, an absolutely agonizing goalkeeping error, a cinematic debut volley, and a legitimate goal of the tournament contender all smashed together in the span of just a couple hours to finalize these group standings.
So, right before kickoff, we were looking at an absolute deadlock. Picture this, a sold-out BC place in Vancouver. The atmosphere is buzzing, and you have Switzerland and Canada completely tied up at 4 points each. A win for either side, that guarantees the top spot in Group B. You've got Coach Murat Yakin bringing out his really formidable attacking trio for the Swiss, but on the flip side, Canada is riding this massive wave of home stadium advantage. They've even got VIPs like Prime Minister Mark Carney and CONCACAF President Victor Montagliani watching anxiously from the stands. I mean, the stakes literally could not be higher here.
But, despite that totally electric atmosphere, those first 45 minutes, man, they were brutally tense. It was a really low-key first half. The best chance actually came early on when Switzerland's Breel Embolo found himself in a one-on-one situation, but he was fiercely denied. So they go into the locker rooms at 0-0, and the tension in that stadium was practically suffocating. Well, that silence, yeah, it really wouldn't last. 40 seconds. Just let that sink in. 40 seconds. That is exactly how long it took for the second half to completely explode into life. Less than a minute after the whistle blows, a cross whips through the Canadian defense, and somehow Ruben Vargas is left completely unmarked on the backside of the penalty box. He takes his absolutely perfect touch to set himself up, fires it, it pings right off the post, and boom, straight into the net, completely beating goalkeeper Maxime Crepeau. 46th minute, Switzerland goes up 1-0, and you could feel this shockwave of absolute silence wash over that sold-out Canadian crowd. Now, at this elite level of the sport, a single split-second moment can just unravel an entire defensive strategy. And in the 57th minute, we saw what can really only be described as a totally costly error. So Breel Embolo holds the ball just inside the Canada box. He sends in a cross, and it's just heartbreaking for the home fans. The ball just slips right through the hands of the Canadian goalkeeper, Crépeau.
And like I said, at this level, you get punished instantly for slips like that. While three Canadian defenders were totally hyper-focused on Embolo, a wide-open Manzambi was in the absolute perfect spot to capitalize on that spilled ball. He just slots it home for his third goal of the tournament. 57th minute, Switzerland doubles their lead to 2-0. And I mean, complete silence just sweeps through BC Place. The broadcast even showed those VIPs in the stands looking incredibly dejected. Okay, so looking at how this second-half chaos mapped out, you've got the Vargas strike right at the 46th, then the Manzambi goal at the 57th. But hey, the story was far from over, because in the 76th minute, Canada mounts this desperate, thrilling fight back, all sparked by a brand-new face off the bench. Just one single minute after being subbed on, Promise David announces his arrival on the world stage in just the most spectacular way you could imagine. A cross comes in, and on his very first touch of the whole game, he connects with this superb volley that just buries itself in the back of the net. The stadium absolutely erupted back to life. Canada pulls one back, making it 2-1 with just 14 minutes left on the clock.
And you know what's really interesting? The underlying data actually proves Canada didn't just roll over. In fact, despite the deficit, they actually edged out Switzerland in expected goals, 1.34 to 1.06. They were really pushing. They managed more shot attempts, more shots on target, and a lot more touches inside the opponent's box in this desperate scramble for an equalizer. But despite all those late crosses and a really close header from Johnston, the final score stubbornly held at 2-1.
Okay, meanwhile, we've got a parallel drama unfolding down in Seattle at Lumen Field. Bosnia is facing off against Qatar, and frankly, they were chasing the mathematically near impossible, because to leapfrog Canada for second place in the group, they didn't just need to win. No, they needed an absolute avalanche of goals.
And wow, they started with some serious intent. In the 10th minute, Alajbegovic delivered a moment of just pure magic. He beats multiple players on this incredible solo run and strikes it from distance right into the top corner.
Honestly, analysts are already saying this solo effort is easily going to go down as one of the goals of the entire tournament. Just an absolute stunner to put Bosnia up 1-0.
But you got to remember that massive deficit Bosnia was facing. 6. That was the goal difference they had to overcome just to catch Canada in the standings. So they essentially needed to score a mountain of goals, all while praying Canada got completely routed up in Vancouver.
I mean, they definitely gave it everything they had. After that Alajbegovic stunner, Qatar conceded an own goal in the 34th minute, and a bit later, Erman Mokmik secured a third for Bosnia. Qatar did manage to grab a late consolation goal, so the match ends at 3-1. It was a dominant victory for Bosnia for sure, but they ultimately fell short of that completely insurmountable 6-goal mountain they needed to climb.
All right, the final whistles have blown. Let's get into the fallout and look at those final Group B standings.
So here is the final reality of Group B. Switzerland locks down the top spot with 7 points, cementing themselves as the outright group winners. Canada, even with that heartbreaking loss today, they hold on to the runners-up spot with 4 points, surviving literally on goal difference alone. Bosnia also finishes with 4 points, taking a really strong standing as a top third-place team. And Qatar, unfortunately, exits the tournament with just 1 point. But the ultimate takeaway here? It's totally monumental. History has officially been made. For the very first time ever, Canada advances to the World Cup knockout stage. Now they won't be playing in front of their home crowd in Vancouver anymore. Instead, they are packing their bags for Los Angeles to face off against South Africa in the round of 32.
Before we wrap this explainer up, let's quickly run through our tactical takeaways from this group. First off, Switzerland showed some undeniable class. Guys like Manzambi and Vargas prove they are just incredibly clinical, consistent scorers. Second, Promise David has officially arrived. He is a very dangerous new attacking weapon for Canada. Third, Bosnia played with so much pride. They get to leave with their heads held high and a bona fide goal of the tournament. And finally, it's a painful, winless exit for Qatar, who just really couldn't seem to find their footing.
To kind of anchor all of this, I want to look at a quote from Canada's coach Marsh. He said, "We had a fantastic performance against Qatar, and on another day, we could have won the group." And I think that just perfectly captures the bittersweet feeling of the day, right? It was a really tough loss, but it's part of a historic journey that is still very, very much alive for his squad.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question as we look ahead to these knockout stages. When you look at the clinical precision of the group-winning Swiss, and then the historic, high-energy momentum of the Canadians, who do you think goes deeper in the round of 32? Just let that sink in for a second. Think about all the tactical weapons both of these teams showed off today, and let us know your predictions. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.